tribe? How you guys doing? We are here for another throwback. This is going to be, or a retro review, I should say. This is going to be your review of Falcon Crest Season 1, Episode 18. I believe this is the season finale. I'm almost certain, but don't quote me on that one. But if we not at the finale, we near the finale. Okay. So we start this episode off. We are at the Froon for Douglas. You know, remember Douglas died at the courthouse, and Angela told Chase that she would never forgive him. So when the Froon was over, Chase tried to go up. Maggie and Chase tried to go talk to Angela, and Angela was like, he was like, we really did love Douglas. She was like, I'm sure you did. Maggie was like, well, if there's anything, she said, you can't. Like before Maggie could even get the sentence out, she was like, you can't. And Chase was like, well, we really are sorry, Angela. She was like, so honey, they got up out of there because, listen, they know when they not wanted, honey. They got the hell up out of there. So Angela ends up talking to Philip, the attorney, and Philip lets her know. He was like, listen, I just need to go on and be honest with you. Like, Chase and the district attorney, they smell blood in the water, and so we're going to have to figure something out. And she was like, listen, I'm going to handle it. What's going on with Douglas's estate? Because, Douglas got that newspaper, she said, and I guess she just assumed, even though they hadn't been married in 20,000 years, I guess she just assumed that the paper would go to her. Like, he had kids, he had Julia, he had Emma, he had a grandson, Lance. Like, what made you automatically assume that he was going to get a paper to his ex-wife? Ex-wife. But whatever. And Philip was like, well, we still trying to figure some things out. Like, there seems to be some issues out west. Back east. And Angela was like, well, go ahead and get it settled because I need that newspaper. Because her plan is that she's going to smear Chase so badly in the newspaper that she'll be able to basically turn public opinion and even get him kicked off the board of supervisors. So that's her plan. So we get to court the next day, and of course Emma ain't there, child. Angela gets called to testify. Let me tell you something. Angela told this elaborate story, honey. She even talked about how it was dark that night. She talked about the temperature. She talked about Jason came up and passed them on the left. Like, she had this whole story concocted. And she was so extra about it, talking about how much she loved her brother, honey. She even broke down and did the fake cry. So, of course, everybody's sitting there like, because everybody in the courtroom knows she lying. Like, the judge probably even knows she lying at this point. So the district attorney is stalling because Emma is not there, and I don't know what made them think that Emma was coming, but Emma is back at Falcon Crest. Now back at Falcon Crest, you have Melissa trying to convince Lance that they need to go down to the courthouse, and Lance was like, "If my grandmother wanted us there, she would have told us to come, but if she didn't tell us to come, she didn't want us there." And Melissa was like, well, "Why you listen to everything she says? Like, if we want to go, we can go." And Lance was like, "Yeah, all right, you go ahead and you work that out. I'm telling you now, we're not going nowhere." And she said, "I know you know the truth." She even accused Lance of killing Jason. Lance was like, "I ain't kill nobody." And she was like, "But I know you know the truth. And if you know the truth, that's something we can use to blackmail Angela. And we can own Falcon Crest together." And he was like, Melissa, child, don't you think I tried that? The will stipulates that if Jason dies of anything other than, like, if he dies under some sort of, suspicious circumstances, that Falcon Crest is to be divided in half, da-da-da-da-da-do, and my grandmother loses everything, ergo, we lose everything, ergo, shut your mouth. So Melissa was like, what? So basically, we Angela's bitches? He was like, yeah. So, honey, I guess Melissa didn't really believe Lance about how, off Emma is, although Emma ain't as off as they pretended that they want Emma to be. So Emma is up in her room writing down, right? She's taking notes in her journal. And she hears Lance coming up the steps. So Lance and Melissa come in her room. And honey, she puts on this whole fake tea party act where she's pouring them fake, tea into fake cups. And Lance is playing along because, he used to Emma. He's pretending like he got a teacup, and he pretending like he drinking out of a teacup. Even got his little pinky sticking out, honey. And Melissa is sitting there like, what in the hell have I walked into? And when it was over with, Lance was like, now you understand what we're talking about. Like, Emma got some issues. Like, just chill out and let grandmother handle it. Like, she got this covered. Now, while this is going on back to the courthouse, The district attorney is now arguing with the judge about Emma showing up. And of course, they got this whole doctor's note for Emma not to show up and that she's not well. And they have to go through this whole back and forth proceeding to decide whether Emma is of sound body enough to be able to come and testify. And, Philip is like, basically, Philip's argument is she not even well enough to come down here to tell you that she's not well enough. And the district attorney was like, okay, but Emma is a grown ass woman. And they even get the attorney, the psychiatrist that she saw one time try to testify and say how, she was unfit or whatever. And the district attorney tore him apart. Like, the district attorney was like, okay, so you weren't her doctor. You saw her one time. You had no follow-up visits from her. You don't know any foundation. Because they try to say she got, like, PTSD or something. And the doctor was like, at the end, the doctor had to sort of admit, yeah, I guess what you're saying is right. Like, And when it's all over said and done, the judge says, well, I want to hear from Miss Emma myself. Baby, of course, they try to come up with all sorts of excuses for Emma not to come, but they end up adjourning for the next day. So the next day, Emma is supposed to come. Well, Angela got Emma on this cocktail that's going to keep her asleep. Every 4 hours, she's like, Lance, give her this pill every 4 hours. She can't, if she ain't lucid and she not awake, she can't go testify. And of course, Lance is going to do whatever his grandmother tells him to do, child. So they go down to the courthouse to once again argue about why Emma can't show up to testify and tell her side of the story. Well, while this is going on, So while this is going on, back over to Falcon Crest, Lance go to give Emma her medicine, and of course Emma's pretending like she's asleep, and it makes me so groggy, and I can't remember this, and I don't know what's going on, and she pretends, and Lance gives her little medicine, and she was like, can I have juice next time, Lance? And he was like, sure, you can have whatever you want. Baby, as soon as Lance rolls out, Emma gets up out that bed and she puts that pill in the drawer with the other 5 or 6 pills that she hadn't been taking. She had on her regular clothes, honey, and she then climbed out the window and she is looking for somebody to get her to town. She want to go testify. Because remember, the last thing her father told her was, tell the truth, be brave. That's the last thing he said to her. So Emma gets to running and she's looking for somebody to take her. Lance goes to take her next dose and realizes that she is gone. Now, mind you, in my mind, it seemed like Emma should have had a 4-hour head start. Because if the medicine's supposed to be every 4 hours and he was going up there to give her next dose, it seemed to me like she should have had a 4-hour head start. But somehow she only managed to get down the hill to the Gilbertis, right? So she rolls up on Cole and Vicky's boyfriend. And just as she gets there, here comes Charlie and Lance. And they have this whole tug of war, and Emma is like, no, Cole, just take me. Cole, take me now. And Emma jumps in the Jeep, and Cole was like, I'll take her back home. Not. And he takes off. And so Charlie and Lance get ready to jump in the limo, but Vicky boyfriend, honey, he done put an axe, that he had an axe in his hand. He done put an axe to that back tire, so that was going to give Cole enough of a head start. They get down to the courthouse, and Emma runs in the courthouse, and of course, Angela loses her mind. And the judge was like, and Emma was like, I want to testify. I want to testify. So the judge was like, she said she want to testify, let her testify. Like, let her say what she need to say. What's the problem? Emma gets up there, and Emma was like, listen, I'm a little nervous, so I wrote down what I wanted to say. And she laid out the whole story. You know what? Let me rewind a little bit. I'm skipping some stuff. Let me rewind. They get Chase on the stand, and they rip Chase to shreds. And they try to make it seem like all Chase wants is the money, because Philip actually went to go talk to Chase the night before this took place. And he tries to offer, Chase money and more land in Falcon Crest. And Chase was like, you know what? That's all well and good. But at the end of the day, y'all have never really understood what this is about. I want to know what happened to my father. Like, y'all keep throwing money at me. Y'all keep throwing stuff at me that really was probably supposed to be mine to begin with. And at the end of the day, I just want to know what happened to my father. So the next day, they're on, they call, remember, the guy that actually was fighting with Emma, the one she got pregnant by. What's his name? Anyway, his jail mate was testifying and letting them know that a digger was a digger Vance. Anyway, he was letting them know that, yeah, he had confessed. He told me everything that happened. And of course, you know, it's that jailhouse confession kind of thing. Like, he is a crook, he's a criminal, so they tried to discredit him. But at the end of the day, he confirmed that, listen, dude said he was there that night, and he told me exactly what happened, that he fell, it was an accident, but he knew that, you know, basically they was going to blame him for it, and he wasn't trying to go to jail for nobody at all. So then they called Chase. And baby, you know, they brought up everything about Chase the whole year. They brought up the fact, they brought that information up again about Cole beating up the teacher. They tried to make Vicky out to be a hoe because she was very... Now, mind you, I still don't think it's necessarily right that Vicky was sleeping with her teacher, but her sleeping with one man that was in an inappropriate relationship don't make her a hoe. But honey, they tried to turn her into a hoe. And Chase was like, you can't stop this judge. Like, this don't have nothing to do with the case. Like, we hear about my daddy and they talking about my children. Like, but... when all of this was going on, that's when Emma bust in. Okay, sorry y'all, got a little ahead of myself. I skipped a few steps. Okay, so Emma gets to telling her story, and like I said, she started from her romance with I think his name was Digger, with her romance with Digger and how they were so in love and this, that, and the other, and how Uncle Jason was drunk that night. He had been drinking, and how protective he was. You know, he loves Uncle Jason so much, and how protective Uncle Jason was of her. And he walked in on the two of them kissing, and he was like, get off of her, get off of her. And they ended up fighting, and they were on the catwalk, and Emma went up there to try to stop them from fighting. And that's when Jason fell, and he died. She said that she went to go get her mother. Her mother came down there. Her mother was very angry with her. And that is when they did the whole thing where they put him in the car, they put him in his truck, and they pushed him over the side of the mountain. Now, Emma went through this whole story. She was reading it because that's what she was doing when she was writing in her journal. She wrote the whole thing down because she said, I didn't want to forget nothing. I get a little nervous, okay? So I didn't want to forget to say nothing. I didn't want to forget to put no information in there. Baby, Angela was fit to be tied. Do you hear me? Now, while this is going on, back to the house, Melissa takes a phone call from out east. What? You know what, y'all? This is my fault. Let me rewind it again. They find out the night before, Angela is asking about the newspaper. What is going on with the newspaper? And Philip was like, well, you know what? That's curious. Come to find out, Douglas left the newspaper to a Richard. He left half of it to a Richard Channing, who was actually his other son. Angela was like, his other who? And Julia was like, a what? Nobody knows who this Richard Channing is. And, you know, of course, he left half of the newspaper to Richard, and then he left the other half of the newspaper to Julia and Emma to share. Which, of course, in Angela's mind, I mean, she got half of a newspaper. So Angela is like, Philip, go find out who the hell Richard Channing is and now. And who is his damn mama. Because I didn't know nothing about this. Okay? Who was Douglas with all them years and he didn't tell me he had a baby out here roaming around them streets. So, phone call came in from the private investigator while Melissa was at the house after Lance went to go chasing after Emma. And Melissa goes running her tail down to that courthouse because she wanted to go to the courthouse anyway. That was just a good excuse for her to get down to the courthouse. So she goes running down to the courthouse, and after court is over, the judge, because remember, this wasn't a criminal proceeding. Like, nobody can actually, the judge can recommend to press charges if he seems fit, but it wasn't a criminal trial per se. So they decided that they weren't going to press any charges against Emma, that it was an accident, and Emma really is a little fragile. They weren't going to press any charges against Angela for perjury. You know, they understand she was just trying to protect her daughter. She really thought her daughter had killed somebody. Like, everybody got off. But then Chase and Angela talking because now the will is void. And technically, Chase owns Falcon Crest now. And Chase tells Angela, listen, at the end of the day, all I wanted was to know what happened to my father, and I just wanted my fair share. And you cheated me out of both. So I'm not gonna be nasty. I'm not gonna take you to court because I know you're gonna fight me tooth and nail. No matter what that will says, no matter what happened in that court just now, you're gonna fight me tooth and nail for any piece of Falcon Crest, a piece of grass off of the land that you don't think belongs to me. He says, so let's save all of us that, and let's just split this thing down the middle. And you give me half of Falcon Crest, and you keep the other half of Falcon Crest, and it's all good. Because at the end of the day, you know I can come after you for the whole damn thing, right? And of course, Angela ain't. She not here for it, but she know that Lance pretty much. I mean, that Chase pretty much got her over a barrel. Like it ain't really a whole lot she could do about it. So she was like, you know, I'm gonna fight you every step of the way. I'm gonna fight you on everything. It's not gonna be easy, but it is what it is. And you know, Chase was like, I know. Like I already know that you're not gonna accept this easily. But for the time being, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and it is what it is, and we're gonna figure out the rest on the other side. So Melissa comes running in there. Melissa was like, yeah, so a phone call came through while y'all was gone, and your private investigator out east said that there are two things that he never wants to rumble with. And one of them is Richard Channing. Baby, and that is where it ends. Now, if y'all are Falcon Crest stands, shouts out to my people who follow these retro reviews. I know one of my subscribers puts these videos in a Falcon Crest chat group. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you are enjoying them. But we about to roll. I think this is chapter 2. Season 2. We about to roll into it. But baby, y'all know like I know, the whole world changes when Richard Channing shows up. Y'all know it's a whole new world about to pop off down to the Falcon Crest. Y'all let me know what y'all think, honey. Drop it in those comments. Peace.